Think the IRS won't notice a few unreported tips or unpaid overtime hours? Think again. With enhanced funding, new technology, and an eye on wage compliance, the IRS is zeroing in on industries where underreporting is common, like restaurants, bars, salons, rideshare, and small businesses. They're using AI and real-time data matching to detect even small mismatches between what you report and what they know. If you earn tips, work overtime, or manage payroll for a business, this video could save you from costly penalties. You may think this only applies to large companies or people making six figures, but that's not true. In fact, the IRS and Department of Labor have been focusing enforcement on everyday workers, especially those in cash-heavy or service-based jobs. This includes servers, bartenders, delivery drivers, nail techs, housekeepers, Uber and Lyft drivers, even hairstylists renting chairs. And if you're a small business owner with employees, this directly affects your tax responsibilities too. The IRS loses billions each year from underreported wages, especially tips and overtime. And they're not guessing. Technology now helps them flag discrepancies between what your employer reports, what apps report, and what you file on your return. The Inflation Reduction Act gave the IRS a huge funding boost. They're hiring more auditors, investing in enforcement tools, and prioritizing areas where people unintentionally or deliberately underreport their income. And tips and overtime are at the top of the list. The IRS now uses third-party data from payment apps, employers, and digital platforms to build a picture of what you should have earned. So if you worked 50 hours in a restaurant but only reported 30 hours, or if you made $8,000 in tips but only claimed $2,000, they'll know. This is especially true for businesses that use payroll software, third-party POS systems, or payment processors like Square, Venmo, DoorDash, or Grubhub. And when there's a mismatch, it often starts with a letter, but it can end in an audit. Let's talk tip reporting. If you earn more than $20 in tips in any month, you're required to report them to your employer using IRS Form 4070. Most employees don't realize this form exists, or they think it doesn't apply if they get cash. But it does. You must report all tips: cash, card, Venmo, everything. If you don't, your employer won't withhold Social Security and Medicare taxes correctly, and you could owe extra when you file. If you forgot to report your tips to your employer, or you find out your W-2 is missing tip income, you can correct it using IRS Form 4137. This form gets filed with your regular tax return and calculates the additional taxes you owe. It's not ideal, but it's a legal way to come clean and avoid penalties. If you've skipped tip reporting in past years, this form can help you get back on track. Now for employers. If you run a food or beverage business and have more than 10 employees, the IRS requires you to file Form 8027 each year. This form reports the total amount of tips your business received and whether your staff is underreporting based on gross sales. The IRS uses this data to compare how much tip income should have been reported based on industry averages. If your reported tips fall below those benchmarks, you could be flagged for an audit, even if your staff made an honest mistake. Now let's talk about overtime. Federal law says employees must be paid time and a half for any hours worked over 40 in a week. That means if someone makes $20 an hour, they're owed $30 hour for overtime. Some employers try to get around this by paying straight time, misclassifying workers as independent contractors, or not tracking hours carefully. These shortcuts can lead to thousands in back wages, penalties, and tax liabilities. Here are some real-world mistakes that get small businesses in trouble. Not paying overtime to salaried non-exempt workers. Using bonuses or tips to offset owed overtime. Letting staff work off the clock. Not keeping time records for part-time staff. Even if these things happen unintentionally, you're still liable as the business owner, and the IRS, DOL, and even state agencies can step in. Ignoring this issue won't make it go away. It often starts with a CP 2000 letter or state labor inquiry. If you don't respond, it escalates to penalties, liens, or wage garnishment. Employers may also face lawsuits from staff. The earlier you act, the better. The IRS offers options for correcting mistakes, but only if you take the first step. If you're a worker and realize you didn't report tips or overtime pay, it's not too late. Gather your records, tip logs, bank deposits, app earnings, and file an amended return. Use IRS Form 4137 for missed tip income or Form 1040X to amend a past return. Be proactive. The IRS is often more lenient when you come forward voluntarily than when they have to come find you. Business owners, review your payroll and time records for 2023 and 2024. Correct any unpaid overtime and issue amended W-2s if necessary. File or correct Form 8027 if your restaurant missed it. You may also need to amend quarterly payroll returns, Forms 941 or 944. Need help? This is where a tax professional can save you time, money, and headaches. Start fresh in 2025 with better systems. Use a digital tip tracking app. Require employees to sign tip logs. Log overtime hours weekly. Keep digital records for 3 years minimum. Audit your payroll quarterly and correct issues early. Compliance doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be consistent. We've created a free IRS tip and overtime compliance checklist to help you avoid mistakes and stay audit ready. It includes 7 simple steps for both workers and employers, with the exact IRS forms and deadlines you need to know. Download it now using the link below or visit getmetaxhelp.com. Need help fixing past mistakes or building better systems for the year ahead? At Fenton Tax Help, we specialize in IRS notices, back taxes, late filings, and wage compliance. We've helped tipped workers, gig workers, and small business owners get back on track and stay in good standing. Book your free 20-minute consultation now at www.getmetaxhelp.com. Let's solve it together before it turns into a bigger problem.